Hi, everybody. My name is Mitch Tannenbaum, and today I'm going to talk about the Log4j family of vulnerabilities. For those of you who are not familiar with Log4j, it is a program that people can download for free, people being developers, to integrate into their code to keep track of things that they want to log, to record. The reason why people use it is because it is free. It's very well known. It's been around for a long time. And as a result of that, it's integrated into a lot of software, including big name products. With all of the events that have been going on over the last couple of weeks, right? The very first version that was buggy was 2.14. That was patched with a version 2.15. Then 2.15 turned into 2.16. 2.16 turned into 2.17. And most recently, 2.17 turned into 2.17.1. So even if the vendor went off and patched, or your development team patched the first one or the first two, you're still exposed as a result of the third and the fourth patches. And you know, we don't know, we may see more of these over the next couple of weeks. We're seeing that these some of these Log4j vulnerabilities are causing a denial of service risk, meaning that they can take whatever that system is offline and make it unavailable to people. Google went off and reviewed the packages that are in Maven Central, which is one of the popular Java code repositories that people download from, and they found over 35,000 Java packages that use Log4j. But it actually is worse than that, because JFrog did a study and they found on the same code repository, remember, we're talking about one of, excuse me, the many code repositories. They found 400 packages on the Maven Central repository that use Log4j but didn't declare it as an external package, which means that a developer who's looking at the manifest wouldn't know that that is an external package and wouldn't know that it needed to be patched. So, of those 35,000 packages, many of them are probably abandoned, that nobody's maintaining them. They will never be updated. So that means it becomes up to the person that downloaded whatever package is using it to verify that it has been upgraded or not been upgraded. And a lot of them have not been upgraded and probably won't be upgraded. We've seen here, I said, that a lot of people use this, big name and small name, VMware and Cisco, two really big name companies that use it in some of their products, but it's used in, in-house developed products. It's developed in open source products that nobody's ever heard of, but doesn't mean nobody uses. So this is a big challenge. The next big risk here is the fact that we've seen this in Internet of Things or industrial control systems packages. And the problem with ICS is that the people who run, let's say, a oil refinery, it takes 3 days, let's say, to shut it down without breaking anything, and another week to start it up again. So they're really reluctant to go patch anything because they're worried about breaking something. And then you have things like smelting furnaces and steel mills, where if you break something, you may literally ruin the mill. It may not be recoverable. So some of these may never be fixed because the people who are running it are too scared to go off and make the patches. But then it even gets worse than that. But wait, there's more. So not surprisingly, the Log4j bug is based on a tool called JNDI, and these guys went off and looked at other software that uses the JNDI library and said, hey, I wonder if this is vulnerable to a Log4j like attack. And it turns out that H2, which is a SQL-like database available for Java users, is in fact vulnerable to the attack. So this is only the beginning, right? If we've got 400,000 packages in the library, we have no clue how many of them are vulnerable. And that's just that one library I was talking about. So, in this particular case, they're saying that the bug is mitigated because the default configuration of H2 says that it won't be enabled. The feature that would enable the bug is not enabled, but that doesn't mean that in some other package, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the 100th package that we find with a similar vulnerability isn't on by default and externally exposed. So this is a real problem. It's going to go on for years, and likely, we're going to see a lot of attacks based on it. This is not something which affects just one industry. This is something which affects a lot of industries. Any industry that uses software, which is kind of like anybody that's in business today, potentially could be vulnerable to this. And we don't know. We won't know for months or maybe even years whether or not this is vulnerable. So this I already showed you, so I don't need to show you that again. So the big takeaway here is that not only do you need to worry about if you develop software or someone develops software for you, but also the software that you buy, you need to be asking the vendors. And in that ICS article I was talking about, it showed vendor by vendor, well, this vendor is looking at things and this vendor is thinking about things and this vendor has released a patch. So, we're going to see patches that are going on for a couple of years, probably realistically. But you're exposed to it likely, and you need to worry about it. So you need to stay on your vendors. You need to get a confirmation for them if they say that they are not vulnerable to the Log4j vulnerability. And then you need to stay on top of the news to find out what the new package of the week is that is in fact vulnerable besides Log4j. So if you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to us. We appreciate your listening to us. Until next time.